Q1.
Hey man.
Hey Victor, how's it going?
Oh wait, I don't know whether it's my headphones or yours.
Oh shoot, is
Mine.
it not working?
It's me.
Okay. I just got a new mic, so
Okay, now it works.
okay, good. You're helping me test. I just got a new mic yesterday, so
No, it's me. Most of the time it's me.
you've got a whole setup over there. So.
It's nothing really special. It's just untouchable. Kind of like nobody's allowed to touch anything in this area.
I don't know if this is gonna work. I tried to just share this window. Can you see that, Victor?
Yeah, I can see it.
Wait, okay. Hey Thomas. Hi Abby.
Hello.
Figure we'll give people a few minutes, couple more minutes. Just clear my screen. All right, 10:02. Let's go ahead and get started. I want to get as much input from you all while I've got you as we can. So let's, if you don't mind, these are some new faces. I don't know if everyone knows each other. Let's just briefly introduce each other. I'm Josh. I'm passionate about helping platform engineers, put together a coherent platform. Work for Red Hat as a solution architect. Victor, Abby, Thomas, one of you want to just jump in and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Victor. I work for Upbound. I'm a developer advocate over there. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm Thomas. I work as an architect in a software company in Denmark. I'm working closely to our platform engineering effort and building cloud native solutions in the company. Yes.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Abby. I have been a platform engineer at different product companies for a few years and 4 or 5 years. And then now I'm working at Syntasso. We're trying to build an open source framework for building platforms. So obviously excited about this stuff.
Sweet. So this is getting recorded. We're still figuring out how to get those published, by the way. We're trying to figure that out, but just FYI. So what I wanted to do today, and I thank you all for joining, is go through this paper, but I put down some things that I kind of want to get close to finalizing with you all, I think. So I wanted to just bring them up before we even start, like to think about as we go. First is, I kind of want to know, do you think we have the right set of top level headings here? And that's kind of goes towards actually the last thing here, which is, if we do think we're getting close, then maybe the next step is to chunk this up and put it into GitHub, each section maybe independently for debate. Another big thing I wanted to bring up and discuss, that it's kind of been coming out in the comments and the discussion, that there's a couple different layers here. There's kind of like this base layer of, I mean, this is a hypothesis, this is what I'm learning from talking with you all, but kind of seems like there's a layer of capabilities and pieces that then that might be called a platform, just that base layer. And then there's a layer that's often built on top of it, which maybe is a developer platform, which kind of chooses a subset, a profile, I guess, of those capabilities. So I guess I just was curious, and I want to get people's feedback on that as we go through. And then the last one is this, that's kind of come up. What is a platform team? Is there more than one? What is their job? So I figure I'll walk through.
What?
Oh, I figure I'll walk through the doc together, and let's, I guess, jump in as we go. Let's try to get through the whole thing, I guess, but I don't want to like dominate the show, so you just jump in, I guess.
Oh, sorry, folks. Is this not the app delivery tag meeting? It looks like maybe not.
Oh, hey, Scott and
Hey.
Pascal. No, I didn't even see. I'm looking at a different view of the attendees. This is just this is the platforms working group meeting. You're welcome to stick with us.
I had an old link on my calendar, I guess. Sorry for the interruption. Hi, everybody, and I'll see you later.
Okay. Hey, Pascal, do you want to introduce yourself? I didn't realize you joined.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So my name is Pascal. I'm a developer. I normally solutions architect here at Red Hat. So that's my interest.
Cool. All right. So what I was gonna do. So right now we've got the top categories, just this introduction, and then in the intro, it does take a little bit of a stand. So I'm open to comments on that. That platform engineering is a form of cooperative delivery, and that it's a form of DevOps. Then it lists this is what we're gonna do, kind of a table of contents. And I guess let's just walk through. So it starts out with the value of platforms. Like I'm kind of interested in this paper to not only help platform engineers, but also like help leaders like execs or architects like understand why they should be thinking about it. Maybe they already are a little bit, but they don't know why. Maybe they're not even thinking about it. So that was why I kind of wanted to start out, explaining, and I just put it explicitly here. We can fix up the prose if you want. What is the computing platform? Why would you want one? Computing platform, that's one that like I just tried to be generic. Here I see, Thomas, you commented like maybe we should discuss about other perspectives on what a platform is.
But it's not necessarily application teams, right? It enables teams in an organization to do stuff, right? I've seen platforms that are just as much focused on infrastructure or security, or so I wouldn't pin it into application product teams.
Yeah, and my comment was about
Internal
perhaps this section could be titled "What is a platform team?" since it's very focused on what the platform team does, and perhaps elaborate a bit more of like what is a platform.
I hear that. What do you think? I mean, we do touch on that again down here, and I guess we could keep going. Here's attributes of platform teams.
I wonder if you could bring that section up. So it just do like value of platforms, attributes of teams that build platforms, then what are they building? Like, then so you're starting from the like what and who, and then dropping into the like how and more detailed stuff.
So maybe the attributes of platform teams should come right here. Would that make it clearer if it came up here?
No,
Should we-
it makes sense to me, the current order, because you explain what is a platform, you explain what are the attributes of the platform, without which you cannot figure out the attributes of platform teams.
Yeah, that was my kind of thinking too. Like a platform, like we talk about, it has to be improved based on requirements of users. So like platform as a product. And then we can say, okay, well, if that's what they're trying to do, then obviously the top job is to research platform user requirements. But maybe to Thomas's point, maybe we can have a pointer to that or something up here.
Yeah, my point was more about like what is a platform, but it's very heavily related to the organizational structure. So it would be nice to first know or understand what is a platform, and then detail organizational wise, like how do you work with platforms, and that would be the platform team concept. If it makes sense, of course.
I think so. Well, so what do you think of, I guess that's what is a platform. So you're saying this is saying how an organization would organize a platform team, where, what does it mean? I guess what I was thinking here is, what does platform team mean? You're coming into the space fresh, you're an exec, and you're like, platform engineering, what is it? So that was kind of the, a platform is that non-stream-aligned cross-cutting team. That's what I was trying to kind of get across here. Are you asking for more than that?
No, it was just a comment on the title of the section, like since it was focused on the platform team, like what is a platform? Yeah, I don't know.
I see. Like it might
more
make
about
more
that.
sense. What is a platform team?
Yeah, but first, like, describe what is a platform, and then, yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I like the content. It was just like, what is a platform? And then the answer is a lot of things about the platform team.
Yeah, okay.
And not about like the what, it's about the who work with that.
I see.
I don't know if I explained myself clearly.
Yeah, I think I got it clearly. Yeah, that's it. In other words, the paper describes what a platform is. That's what we're trying to describe. But this is really just, I guess, you know what it is? It's a platform generically. Like, here's what a platform is, like the concept of a platform, but what does it mean, in the context of computing? But this actually does get into the context of computing a little bit. So maybe this needs to be trimmed down. I think that might be it. Trim it down to just to really basic what a platform is. Okay, I'm gonna write that. Okay, let's keep going.
Victor, I just made a change. You had said to step away from just application developers. It's like internal. I don't know if that captures what you were trying to say. That was the intention.
Yes.
But,
exactly. Yeah. I saw it and I didn't complain. It's good.
Well, then I won. But I don't know, Josh, if that changes too much your intention of the sentence as well. But that was just there was a comment there made that just. That's why I went as a suggestion rather than as an edit, though, so that you'd have a chance to read it. And
yeah, I think thank you for catching it. I guess that's what you were getting at, Victor. Yeah, I think that's great.
Cool. We can, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I like the emphasis on internal. Like, that's what we're really talking about, the internal platforms. Okay, here's a place to bike shed. This is where I was talking. This is what I was bringing up before. Like, I guess I call it a cloud platform. I don't know what everyone else, wants to call it, but it's when I think about it, I'm thinking about this collection of services. But then a lot of the feedback, I think, from everyone was that there's developer platforms, which are maybe more opinionated versions of this.
So I don't like this part at all because of numerous, many times repeated cloud. Internal developer platform or platform or what's not, right? That simplifies lives of engineers in a company, right? Now, theoretically, whether that's cloud or that's mainframe or that's, I don't know, edge computing should not really matter. I mean, yeah, we all like cloud. I don't want to go on-prem ever again, but it's not really about cloud.
Okay, my thinking on that is that cloud is a architectural pattern and that it could be applied to edge or on-premises data centers. Like it just means disaggregated distributed systems. But I hear what you're basically saying, like that's not what everybody thinks of cloud as. So
It also
Yeah.
not
Because
sure
kind of
if the word cloud adds to it, right? So if I were to read the sentence as modern computing separates capabilities used by applications from the runtime machines, like I think we would agree on that as a group, I think. Correct me where I go wrong. And then like correspondingly, a modern platform offers self-serviceable. So like you sort of use the word modern and cloud, and I'm not sure if you need both. And if cloud is creating divergences or like differing, understandings, that might.
I hear that. Yeah.
Also, another thing, so I haven't been involved before, so stop me at any moment when I'm talking bullshit. But I guess when we are talking about platforms, it could be AWS is a platform by itself, right? And I'm guessing that that's not what we're talking about here, and we are more focused on internal developer, or what is commonly called internal developer platforms, right? Because platform itself can be, Azure is a platform that enables kind of, if you replace word platform with Azure, it's a platform. Now, if you're covering all sorts of platforms from Heroku to self-build, that's great. If you're covering what people build in their companies, then I would go for IDP or something like that.
I was trying to go for a broader cloud platform.
Internal
and I did
platform.
intend like Azure and AWS to be examples of that. I worked on Azure for a while and I always thought of it as a cloud platform.
No, so it is a cloud platform. I'm just trying to figure out whether we're talking about, hey, here's a platform from Azure, you use it as is, period, that's it. Or we're talking about people building their something on top of it that will leverage that Azure, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly like, let's say Azure has, web apps and it has functions and it has databases and it has observability systems.
Mm-hmm.
And you need that in your enterprise.
Correct.
You are building, I guess that's where I'm kind of like, and I think this is the question, like, are you building an internal cloud platform, wrapping Azure's platform?
So here's the question, essentially. Basically, I see two approaches, and I'm going to ridiculous it a bit. One approach is, let's say in both approaches there is Azure. One approach is, here's a credit card. Dear developers, here's a credit card. There's Azure, go. Right? The other approach is, we're going to build something on top of it that will make it easier, more streamlined, whatever you want to call it, right? And both, not judging one or the other, kind of like just trying to distinguish those.
Yeah.
It's not always just easier as well, though, right? Sometimes it's viable. Like if you're in an environment that has security requirements or costing requirements or whatever, like, so I again have just sort of typed as I've listened. I switched to its suggestion mode because I'm not confident in it yet, but like an effective internal platform offers a business customized and maybe it's and self-serviceable offers business, maybe the S should stay there for offers
Correct.
Business customized and self-serviceable versions of these capabilities.
Correct.
And that's to your point, Victor, of like, if you're building an internal platform, it's because you can't just hand over the credit card for some reason. It's either
Exactly.
skill set or time management of your engineers, or it's something bigger like a security auditing or
Yeah, kind
whatever.
of. This
right?
is how everybody needs to use this VPN. You cannot just go to AWS, right? Kind of. Exactly.
Okay, so I think that I think we're all saying there are two. Is this back to the two layers discussion? Like there's the internal platform, which is like Azure. Maybe it's Azure, maybe it's a wrapper around Azure, maybe it's your own DIY Kubernetes.
So
Right.
the way I would describe it don't write those words, but essentially you build a platform that streamlines things for your people in your company based on your processes and security and whatever kind of. And now below that is Azure or AWS or VMware or on-prem or Raspberry Pis.
Yeah.
Kind of what's below that, that's to me a different question, right? Unless you go directly for Azure, which I'm guessing is not what we're speaking about, right?
What I wrote in the comment there was about considering, call it cloud native platform as an architectural style. So this is the type of like product we are working with. And that is can be implemented in different ways. So one example would be what is called internal developer platform that supports the developer in the path to production. But we could, we might need to build a data platform for doing some machine learning. It could be any other kind of platform, but all following the same architectural style, the same properties, the same approach that is described in the document, if that makes sense. And that could be also resulting in a layered approach, because you could have like a core platform that's the basic foundation, and then different teams could build on top of that, one responsible for the application platform, one for the data platform, but still sharing the same API approach, same architecture, same principles.
Yeah.
The way I look at these layers, I totally agree, Thomas. The way I look at the layers is like basically all and I brought this up a bit later in the document. There's a point at which we talk about like developers versus operators, and we talk about offloading to the platform. And I think that like diminishes the value of what the platform teams are doing, because in my opinion, the platform teams, one or many, are literally just encapsulating another product team. They are
Correct.
building and operating something that gives value to a user. And if they are able to build and operate everything using only one team worth of humans, do it. Lots of organizations do that, but often you'll start to find divides there where it's like the humans that know how to build and operate databases really effectively are different than the humans who know how to do like developer tooling who know how to do networking or whatever. And so you end up getting these like different split ups where you've got a team that builds and deploy and operates networks who their users are other platform teams who are building on top of that network to deliver a different product, to build and operate a different product for a different internal team.
Correct. They're more like integrators of the work of other teams than.
Yeah.
I
did like where you put that, Josh, of like there at one point you say like maybe there should only be one platform team. I think it's a comment. Maybe there should only be one platform team, even if there's lots of component teams underneath. And like that's an interesting theory around like, is there a single product owner for an entire ecosystem of APIs, or is this more like, you think of like a GCP, AWS, Azure, there's not one product owner for Azure. There's a product owner for like compute in Azure, or probably not even that, right? Even smaller slice, but, and is that okay, right?
But if you see platform teams sitting on top of them, actually basically combining all that work into something, then it is one team without entering into discussion whether it's one person or 50, right? But they will not write all your Terraform manifests, right? Somebody already does that. Their job is to make sure that you can use those manifests in a very easy way and streamlined and, for non-Terraform experts. Let's say that would be my explanation, right? You have Terraform Guru and you have a platform team that makes it usable to non-Terraform gurus, right?
Interesting. Yeah, what I'm hearing from you all is it's kind of this pyramid shape. Like these folks at the bottom might be compute network storage or something. You got the Terraform gurus that know how to put together, complete templates. And then you have what we're calling a platform team, which publishes them on a portal or something.
Like user experience. So this is, Thomas, to your point of the different types of platforms. So like you might have a team that is well-versed in the user experience of data engineering, or a team that is well-versed in the user experience of software development, and again, that might be one team that does user experience of all users of this platform, or it may be that there are different specialties depending on the size of your org. And so you may end up with those different kind of designs depending on the different use cases.
And so the question becomes, do we focus in this article only on the platform, which is the top layer for developers, or do we cover all of the layers? And then that becomes quite something.
If we would focus on all of the layers, we would essentially be focusing on whole software industry, which would be, it would not get us anywhere, right? We just need to assume that the work is already done by different experts, right? And now, of course, in some companies, things are mixed. You will have one person that tiny company does all three of those, right? Layers. But let's assume that there are those layers, even though one person can be multiple ones. And we are interested really, if we focus to anything, but what is written right now is user experience, we are doomed to never get anywhere.
What about focusing on the capabilities? Right? Because I see them as like each capability is provided by a component. Then we have this catalog of components, and then you can assemble, you pick and choose the components you need to assemble the specific platform for your use case, rather than just talking about layers, because it might be a bit limiting because there are so many combinations. But having more, all these components, this catalog of things that you can put together in a standard way with same API, same approach of integrating things, can open also for further discussions. Like we can select, or we focus on this set of capabilities. There are more, but they all work in the same way, the way that we integrate them and build or address new use cases and new scenarios.
I think you're talking on something that we don't mention here, and I'm not sure if we want to, which is, I heard this for the first time, I think at PlatformCon, maybe, I don't know, something about, but it resonated, the idea of like a floating platform. So to your point, Victor, if we bring in all the layers, we're like talking about the whole industry. Like we don't need to talk about power supplies anymore because we have companies that do that, like Google and they're with all the companies with their data centers. So where do we draw the line? Like the goal of an internal platform is to draw that line in a spot that allows for you to take advantage of any buy options that you might have in the future without having to change that interface to the users, right? What is the thing that actually, the only thing that actually matters to your business is what? That should be your platform layer. How you actually deliver it can evolve as new options come on the market. And to your point, Thomas, like you piece different things put together and all that. So how do you float that platform above any specific tool?
Yeah. Or in other words, how do you make those disparate experiences, right? There are Terraforms and security scanners and kind of 57,000 different tools and interfaces. How do you put it all together into a single interface? For simplicity, it could be more that people, this is Backstage. Let's say that I'm a platform engineer. I'm focused on Backstage.
Yeah.
There is already Jenkins running, right? Kind of my job is to help people not go to Jenkins and to Ansible and to Terraform and to this and that, kind of like, this is your platform. What's below it is for me to integrate with rather than to create.
Yeah.
So when you switch to Circle CI, it's okay. Like, it doesn't
whatever
matter.
it is. And one of the things I was thinking on this is like, we're trying to guide those people to tell them, you need these, you can assume you're going to need these 10 capabilities. If you're building an app dev platform, I guess, or you're going to need to provide observability, you're going to need to make sure you can provide a database, provide an identity. So like, these user experience guys, what should they ask from these bottom compute network storage databases people? What are they trying to project through?
I think that it's a wrong question, right? They should not ask them in those roles. They should ask their customers, their users, kind of like,
Okay, yeah.
what do you guys need? What's your problem? Kind of like, oh, I don't know how to define and deploy my application. Excellent. I can help you with that. And then the story goes that person might go to some Kubernetes guru who will give him a Helm chart that he's been working on. He will make it, et cetera, right? So you have customers.
100%. They need to iterate on these, and maybe in your organization you don't need messaging services or something.
So,
but this paper is to get them started. Like, here's what you should expect in a typical organization that your developers are going to need.
Okay. Okay, now you jump back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can go to capabilities, but that's so here, like, for example, web portal, APIs, golden path templates, building and testing automation, delivery automation. This one I just added today, research and development environments, observability, services, infrastructure, which is compute network storage, data. We can come back to this, but I think that's kind of what we're talking about, is like, what does this involve?
In my head, what simplifies this discussion about those that you have now is two layers. Essentially, what I see is platform engineering teams. They have customers. Those are all the people, potentially all the people in the company, and they have providers. That provider can be that network engineer. That provider can be AWS as well. It could be internal, it could be external, right? You're basically creating a bridge between providers of services and end users, right? And it's, at least in my head, important to distinguish that we have those two. You have a customer, you have a provider, unless you build it yourself from scratch, kind of like open main.go and go.
I think that's represented nicely in the picture, a bit down in the document, like the two parts with APIs for the users, and then whatever infrastructure provider that it's outside, like we don't care inside the platform itself.
Outside or inside, yes.
Yeah.
This bottom layer. Yeah. I like you calling them providers. That almost makes me, so this, I feel like this top section, and it even says classic platform as a service from the likes of Heroku and Cloud Foundry, exemplified cloud platforms. This could be that providers layer, and maybe that's an infrastructure platform. I don't know. I'm a little not sure what to call it.
But it's not necessarily infrastructure, I think, because perhaps I'm using GitHub Actions or Circle CI. That for me is also a provider, and I'm integrating with it. So it could be really anything.
So I think that you're complicating lives with two layers below platform composers, right? Kind of like you have those providers, service providers, whether they're people who write Terraform or that's AWS or Circle CI or networking people, kind of, you have simply providers. If we enter into defining every single permutation, what's below you, again, we are going into never-ending story, right?
Okay, so you're saying the Terraform, the YAML, whatever it is, it's just APIs. The service providers are down there.
I mean, not even, it's important that platform is creating a simple single interface or API. Doesn't even have to be API, CLIs or SSH. I'm SSHing into a machine and doing something, right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that.
Ansible.
Let's face it, but
that could be, basically that would be defined by these people, right, Victor? Like if they say, well, you're going to SSH in and run CLI commands, then that's what they decide.
I mean, I'm helping people not to do SSH, essentially.
Yeah. Okay, so, what I'm still kind of not sure on is how to define this bottom layer. And I let's keep going, but I kind of think it's important. I don't know, in my own experience, I guess, I was at a place where they didn't provide databases well. They didn't provide the message queues we needed. They didn't give us observability out of the box. And I really felt like, but they said they had a platform team.
But that's
So-
the problem between the app teams and the platform team. So like that is not being customer focused. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has nothing to do with the platform to service providers, in my opinion, right? Because they had
Exactly.
databases, they had service providers, and they had a person figuring out a way to vend those to users, but they were not investing in that experience, like feedback from the experience of a user requesting it, and then the vending process.
Yeah, but that brings us back to the capabilities then. Like, I'm a platform team, I deliver this platform, this is the list of capabilities I offer. You can get a database, you can get a message queue. That's fair. They decide that this is what the boundary that we define. So I'm still not convinced about the layered approach. But
Yeah,
I
I
like
would say-
the composition of capabilities that is shown below in the diagram, because then you pick and choose. And as a platform team, you make some decisions based on whatever criteria about what capabilities you offer. And you can offer them all yourself or based on another platform team that already built something with some core capabilities.
Yeah, I was going to say pretty much the same thing. If the article could focus on that app dev platform, and then let other people decide how they want to break it down or implement it.
That's the thing. We don't know. We cannot know. The needs differ from one organization to another, right? In some company, the only devs are perfectly happy to do everything except manage the databases, and then your platform is only that, right? In some others, they don't know how to build their binaries, or they don't want to build the binaries. Then that's part of the platform, right? Capabilities are really anything. They're your customers, kind of like you figure out by talking with them what do you need, and that will, like, where I work, if I say I'm going to help you build your binaries, they're gonna kick me out. So open the window and throw me through it, right? In some other companies, that's the need. That's the biggest capability.
The other question is, who should read this article? Is it
I was going to
business
ask
people?
that.
Is it developers? Who is the reader?
No,
And what scale company, and like to your point, Victor, of like wanting to stay away from something as specific as developer platforms, like I'm worried if we go too generic, we lose everybody. So like, do we pick a target audience? Like we are looking at director levels of multinational software houses, like, or whatever, like pick a customer of this thing, because I think we're at risk of losing everybody if we try and appease everybody.
I would rather define it as put examples rather than kind of be specific. We should have plenty of examples, right? That I agree. But for all I know, the platform team actually all they did was choose Heroku and say go. There you go. It's a platform.
Well, I think and I'm taking away that the lower layer is not a layer. It's a collection of building blocks, which the platform, the guy building the developer platform or the MLOps platform needs a grab bag of capabilities, but that's not a platform. That's, I don't know.
Correct.
Exactly, a platform component, maybe.
I like capabilities.
Capability.
Yeah. And then we have like a list of selected capabilities that are all the ones that you find in an internal developer platform. So that could be a concrete example.
Yeah.
Then we can point out that you can actually get only the capabilities you need and build on top of that further capabilities, and we can make it different examples, machine learning or whatever
COTS
might be relevant.
The ones I think of. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I think I'll work on this. I need to kind of refactor this a little bit to account for that, but then we'll end up focusing, why don't we choose at least two? Let's go with developer platform, web app developer platform, business app developer, and ML ops. Those seem a couple, I guess, practical examples. Okay. Let's keep going. There's a lot. Keep going. Let's see. Why adopt platform? So here also same thing, and we're gonna I'll have to rejigger this because we don't need to say, here's the 2 layers also that I added in the past couple of days, like a cloud computing platform is, basically the coherent collection of capabilities and then further guides developers. So this needs to kind of be turned around. This is not an end goal. I think that's what you all are saying. Like these are the end goals. And this might be, on the journey.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I guess that also we'll try to integrate these two. All right, let's go down then to here. So attributes of platforms will become, well, it's still kind of generic. So developer platforms or ML ops platforms or COTS, to run third-party apps. Those are some use cases I think of, but like are these kind of generic attributes across all of those? Or should this be more specific? And is this, I guess, what do you think of these attributes? Be designed and continuously improved based on requirements of its users. So that we could rephrase that maybe a little differently, but that's to emphasize like you need to understand what the users want out of the platform.
Correct.
Is this where we should be using, do we want to espouse the language of platform as a product? Because there'd be an option here to be like, be treated as a product where improvements are continuously added based on requirements of users or what, like basically, do we want the word product in there? I like the sentence, I think, as an option for the word product if we want it.
I hear what you're saying. Like you got to use the words that everyone else is using.
I'll put it in there as a comment to say like, should we add product here? And then we can come back around if it makes sense, but not a stress, basically.
I hear what I think we should try to add it in to catch people's eye, because some people will just be, oh, I get what they're saying. They said product. But this is kind of the definition of platform as a product. I definitely from the comments.
Agreed.
Like, okay, let's see what else. Publish consistent entry points. GUIs, APIs, and tools. I think that's pretty generic.
Mm-hmm.
Documentation and code templates. So this, I guess I want to talk about this a little. Like I'm using the word templates for all these like golden path kinds of things, which are, I guess, copy and pastable, getting started things. Is that, I don't know. I kind of want people's opinions on that. Am I oversimplifying?
I think it makes sense and it applies to different types of platforms as well. It's not necessarily application code templates, but it could be infrastructure code templates and other use cases.
Okay. Self-serviceable. I think we all agree on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Encapsulate and hide operation. The idea being like you shouldn't have to run your own operator to get a database. Like somebody else should be running the operator, running the database management system. So you're just getting a database.
I wouldn't say hide operations, because you do want to expose, if it's self-service, you want to expose operations. Otherwise, I think that 4 and 5 are conflicting. The question is only kind of what is the level of complexity that you want to expose, right? What do people care about, what they don't?
Maybe you want to say hide operator of capabilities or provider of capabilities. Because those I definitely don't want to see them.
Implementation sounds like what you all are saying, more than operation, right? What you're saying is like
exactly
encapsulate and hide the implementation of capabilities and services, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. Just like an object orientation to it fits well.
And that's where we're talking about that floating platform idea. Like, doesn't matter if today you're using Jenkins and tomorrow using Circle, you're using CI pipelines, right? And like things will change depending on your provider, but like that's really the abstraction layer you should be at. Like,
And were you all saying like you might want like logs and metrics or something about like you do want to know how it's operating to some degree. You might not want to, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I,
guess
I
you
want to, if
figure
I'm
it
going
too.
to be self-serviced, I want to see the
Yeah.
logs of something, right? The question is only that I do not necessarily want to see all the madness that I don't understand.
Hiding too much operations tends to create finger pointing across. Hey, it didn't work. I have no ability to debug this and figure out if it's you or me, so therefore it's you, because that's the way life works, right? Like, yeah.
Okay, I think we're all saying that something should be encapsulated. There's a little bit of a gray what the user is exposed to. But okay, but let's keep the line for now. Be shared.
What is products in this context?
Yeah, that's another, I had noticed that's been confusing for people too. Maybe we should define products somewhere. Products to me means things that are delivered to customers to provide values.
Would it make
So-
more sense to say something maybe teams rather than products?
Yeah,
Is that what you're trying to say?
I go back and forth on that because like, what if it's a bunch of robots creating the product? Like, you know, is it, yeah, I hear you.
I'm pretty sure that they will not need any hiding and encapsulation robots.
I'm just, I mean, a product might not always be a team is more what I'm getting at. Like, let's say, you know, something creates a new service, whatever it is, and I just am,
Engineers. I mean,
Yeah.
but I guess the point is, I'm not sure whether I understand what you're trying to say. You're saying that many people will share this, right? It's not designed for only me, right?
yeah. And I'm not, I was thinking, is that even an attribute? Yeah, okay, fine. So let's, yeah, many users, that's fine. I was kind of asking, does it have to be shared? Is there such a thing? I guess like not by the definition of platform team.
That's why I wrote enabled. I'm suggesting enabled instead of shared, because it's like, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can write a platform that is unique to each individual team, but the point is that what you are writing should be usable
Shareable.
by more. Like yeah, shareable. Because it's like I'm not sharing my database with another team, which would be one definition of the word share, but I am sharing the capability of creating databases with another team. So that's like I'm enabled.
Yeah.
Similarly to the other
And
team, it just clicks better in my head, but I have
Mhm.
weird words
And
sometimes.
the
would that
key
part
is
of point one?
the key there is in many, right? Because if only this team needs this, that I would never put it into a platform kind of like, okay, this
Right.
is yours kind of like, you need it, here you go kind of like.
Yeah.
Platform
It doesn't count
becomes a
as
thing when
platform
it's,
if you built it for yourself only.
yeah.
Would that implicit in point one, gathering requirements from users, and that's how we enable them, we ask requirements and decide if we want to implement those or not.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes you have those cases, John needs this. Kind of, would I really go to the trouble to put it into a platform because John is the only one needing it?
Nope.
He's my user, right?
Yeah.
But it's like business, right? Like developing a product as a business, right? Kind of like I'm not going to create a product that is used by a few. I'm going to the bigger the number of users, the more bigger return of investment. That's where I'm focusing. I don't care about John. John can do it by himself. I care about 1,000 people getting a benefit from something.
Like
Okay,
six
so I guess
might
that's
help
the focus.
inform one. I was just going to say 6 kind of says, okay, yeah, of course you want to consider your users, but ultimately you need to make things that are shareable. Like if this guy needs one, you know, crazy piece of functionality, maybe that's not part of your platform.
I remember a short while ago, I spoke with Kelsey, and basically he described it precisely like that. Kind of, okay, so we have different people needing different things. The moment you realize that actually there are more people that need this, we move that functionality, very often developed by them, but John, into a platform, because the moment more people need it, that's when we put it there.
Cool. Yeah, that fits.
Yeah, I like
then.
how it's been
Love it.
rephrased. Should it be point one, perhaps? Like even before the continuous improvement.
Potentially what you're saying is maybe next to point 1, so it could be point 2 as well, like just basically saying like, or so either as basically put 1 and 6 together in whatever order make the most sense. You're suggesting 6, then 1, and then move down, basically.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I like putting 1 first because it's like what we consider to be our top. I mean, we might need to say
Yeah.
platform as product or something, but like I think that's our big thing.
But putting that, yeah, I think putting together makes a lot of sense to your point, Thomas. Like it could go as number 2 then next to it, right? Because they are kind of
Yeah.
qualifiers of each other in some ways.
Right down to move that up. Oh, can I add a comment somewhere?
Sorry, I added a bunch of things to it.
It doesn't let me
Don't know if
anymore.
they help or
There it
hurt,
is.
but
Next to number 1. Okay, let's keep going because it's getting late already. Support both research and development and production. This was interesting because I got this feedback. Abby, you and a couple other people like brought this up. And maybe this is passing into what we were like the developer platform layer, like the actual platform. Like this is different for each one. Like if you're building apps, an app platform, then you should, support both R&D, test, production, which are all going to be a little different.
Yeah, I mean, you
so-
support the needs of many, right?
Yeah, support all use cases for your users. Yeah, it's almost redundant.
If everybody, if many choose to have Domino pizza for lunch every day, I would put that in a platform as well.
Yeah, so then this just becomes really just an aspect of catering to the needs of your users. So that it doesn't need to
Yeah.
be its own.
Yeah.
This is part of number 1. And then this doesn't even apply uniformly because like let's say you're deploying a third-party app, maybe there isn't an R&D involved. It's just deployed to test and production or something. Okay, and then the last one, be able to be bypassed. I think we all, I got, it seemed from the comments that people agreed with that.
Yeah, I like composable and optional.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
teams can decide what to use of the platform.
Okay. Okay, so then these next stuff, we don't have to go through. It's basically just pros. You can look it over on your own, but pros over the
Cool.
previous 8. Let's see. I'm trying to decide how we make the best use of the next 5-6 minutes here. So we have attributes of platform teams. And then we have capabilities. Yeah, let's talk about the attributes of platform teams. So really so these, first of all, are these generic? Like, are these applying to developer platforms and MLOps platforms or COTS platforms? And are these the right ones? So the team, and this I guess would be that middle team in the ASCII art that we did before, the team that's aggregating up the capabilities from the grab bag. Like their jobs are to understand their users, maybe, transfer knowledge, I guess, or make sure to share that back with the providers. That's all kind of in here. Maybe that could be added, like research platform user requirements, influence providers. This would be manage and develop interfaces. So that's kind of the experience. I guess it could be said, manage, develop experience for use of capabilities and services, which is, that's really their main job, I think, is what we're saying.
Yes. I'm not sure about the number 3 though.
Okay, and it does say possibly. So that's, yeah, I guess we could take that out and say, hey, if you're
Because,
doing that, then you're
you know-
fitting into the providers category.
In practice, you will do this. Just as in practice, you do almost everybody changes roles. Kind of, we all wear multiple hats, right? I'm just kind of like, when I start doing that, then I'm not platform engineer necessarily anymore. I'm already, I don't know, sysadmin, right?
Okay. And one item that I often hear is, given the platform is optional, developers are not mandated to use it. So somebody has to sell them the platform.
Internal developer advocate.
Yeah,
It's huge.
yeah, I like that.
Evangelize, whatever the word is that you want to use, I think is
Yeah.
like really good point, Pascal.
That's why I like using the word customers rather than anything else, because you cannot force customers to buy your stuff, right? You can
Well,
convince them to buy it.
Some people have done that. Some people have.
Oh, yeah.
Monopolies.
Sometimes in
Monopolies.
enterprises, yeah. Or
Yeah.
yeah, monopolies. Yeah, that's a really good one. Says that.
Basically,
there was-
interpret tree as sell.
Yeah, but that wasn't. This is a nicer way to say it. I mean, you can say market also. I mean, and we can work on that. Market, evangelize, advocate.
Yeah.
One thing on this, yeah, I mean, definitely if there's other suggestions, let's talk about it. But one thing, Abby, I think you brought this up along the way. Like, this is mostly to help platform engineers, platform teams understand their role and what they might be expected to provide to an app team. But should we be discussing stuff for the platform engineer themselves? How do we provide a platform for the platform engineer, kind of?
Yeah, well, it's how do we enable this? So like the conversation that we're having, and like as I always say, like this is the space I'm in. Call me out if I'm being too like Cradix related, but like is we're kind of having to build these things from first principles right now. Like you have to use like Terraform or YAML or something, and it's like, how do you tie all this together and create that user interface? Like right now, there's no framework for it. We're kind of building from like the ground up, and so you either have to buy it or you have to build it yourself. There's no like supported build option. Yeah, but yeah, we're seeing everybody do it themselves. Everyone's figuring out how to
Backstage is
deliver
like-
a platform themselves. Like everything, it's everywhere.
Right. Like Backstage is one of the pieces. Cratix or Crossplane might be one of the pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and it's how do you deliver to all of your infrastructure? So we talked about already, like cloud native. It's not always cloud native only. Sometimes it also is on-prem stuff, and sometimes it's a mix of Kubernetes cloud and non-Kubernetes cloud. And how do you manage all those? And yeah, I think all of that is what is the support system for the platform engineers? Like, yeah,
That's one that I'm almost thinking, should there be a section on that somehow?
I think somebody linked Mauricio's articles, like
he did.
his keynote was a
Yeah.
lot on that stuff as well, right? Like I think that there is work to be done in that space, I think, across the industry. So
Yeah, that could be helpful too, to a reader of this. Like, okay, I know my job. What tools are available to help platform engineers do this job? And that would I'm kind of, so yeah, so then the last section, I know we're almost at time, so is the capabilities, but these are now no longer capabilities that it's
Let's leave it for the next one. I think that if you start discussing it now, in
yeah.
2 minutes.
So do you all have time for a next one? Can we do this? I mean, I don't know if next week at this time is a good time, but
Good
our
for me.
next scheduled meeting is not till 13th.
Wait, is it not next week, Wednesday?
Next week, there's an app delivery meeting. Would you all want to meet Tuesday, December 6th at this time, if I can do it?
I'm very confused because this one is also up the delivery meeting, at least in the title.
Oh, it's just sponsored by App Delivery. This is just the platforms WeG is on, but
Okay,
there's all
so-
tag meeting on the 7th and the 21st, every first and third Tuesday.
Okay, so
Wednesday.
same meeting sometimes for this, sometimes for that. Okay.
That meeting is more all up. So like people will present on projects, you know, we'll there's several WeGs, like the GitOps WeG is part of Tag App Delivery and the Chaos WeG. So that, you know, that's more an all up kind of thing. I mean, you're welcome to attend there too if you want. But this meeting that I called together with us today is just a one-off, but I'm using the Platforms WG mostly for this paper right now. And then we'll go from there. So the
Okay.
next meeting for the Platforms WG, by the way, working group, I just call it WG because it reads that way, is on the 13th at 1600. So is that a good time for folks, or do you want to try to meet Tuesday, the 6th?
I'm
What
available
are the
both
options?
days.
Sorry, Tuesday or?
We could wait till Tuesday the 13th, or we could try to meet again next week.
I'm available next week, Tuesday or Wednesday at this time, if that's helpful.
Yeah,
Okay, then
okay,
Wednesday-
well,
let it be
talk to
Wednesday
you at
then.
least, Abby. What?
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but I mean, just I suggest just send an invite and then we can reject it and adjust and whatever.
Okay. Okay, let's tentatively plan to sync on, it'll probably be Tuesday. And I'll ping in the channel now. And let's keep iterating here, get that stuff integrated. And are we ready to go to GitHub? I kind of feel like I want to wait till Tuesday. We can discuss that
I was
then.
just, I threw possibly a big curveball on my newest comment on there, is I wonder if this is two different articles. One that's around a platform and one that's around delivering a platform. One is around why you need a platform, what you should expect from a platform, what the user interface is, what a platform team does. And then it's like, okay, you are on a platform team now, or you've decided to create a platform team now. What do those people do and need to do? And like all the stuff under capabilities of a cloud platform splats over to the like thing.
Uh-huh. And maybe this
Mic
stuff too.
drop. Let's talk about that next week.
Okay.
Next week.
But yeah.
All right, thank you all so much.
Thank you,
Cheers.
folks.
Yeah, I'll
Thanks
talk to you
everyone.
Have a
Thanks,
nice day.
Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye y'all.